Hello guys, that's Benji here with another edition of C++ Programming Noob to Programmer. Last time I left, we was looking at this, which is the main function and all the setup at the top here, and I introduced what variables are and how to set variables up, and a couple of operators to do with variables. I did say that my next lesson would be on test statements, but they're a small topic, so hopefully I can fit them in the end of this, because I actually want to go over some operator rules. I believe I've already said what an operator is, but it's essentially anything that does something to an object, but the actual thing itself is a symbol. I'm not sure if this makes any sense whatsoever, but standard operators are plus, minus, slash, star, percent, ampersand. There's two ampersands, the chevron thing, that and two of those, a comma, square brackets. There are loads of operators. Oh, and equals, of course. These are all operators. For the meantime, we can completely forget all of these. I'm just going to be going over plus, minus, slash, asterisk, percent, and equals for now. With integers, first I'm going to explain how integers work compared to something like float. They are the two main types of variable in C++, other than user defined, but that is way in the future for now. So I would do here, like I did previously, we can add two. Oh yeah, hang on, I should mention, in the previous video I showed a plus equals sign and the number 13 to add 13 to this variable, because the plus sign on its own, like that, this statement does absolutely nothing. It returns the value 17, but it doesn't do anything with it. That's just like replacing that with that. There is no reason to do it whatsoever. However, I could set up a second variable such as int var2 equals that one plus a number there. So what happens is this first gets turned into what it represents, being 4. So that gets read as 4. Then all this gets read and shortened, turned to 18. And then we have set up our variable 2. However, if you add a equals onto an operator, I'm not actually sure if to work the other way around like that, I think so. But yes, you can skip the equals. Sorry, I mean you can skip writing the variable name again if you are applying it to itself by just putting the operator next to an assignment operator, being the equal sign. So that would be add 4 to temp variable, tutorial variable. So, few things with these operators. Firstly, well, you should hopefully know that a slash means divide and the asterisk is multiply. Because an X is a letter, it can be represented by variable name, so it's not used for arithmetic. So with integers, the reason I'm mentioning integer types, in fact I'll use a tutorial variable. Problem with integer types is that if I want to say divide this by something, such as 2, the answer would not be 3.5 because I'm assigning a variable what can only be an integer. So the answer, what is returned, is 3. It will always be flawed. So even if I add something like 9 over, I don't know, 2. No, not 2. Yeah, something like 9 over 5. Yeah, 9 over 5 gives us 1.8. However, in integer mathematics, this only gives us 1. It compares how many 5s can fully fit into the 9. And division brings me on to the other operator, which I'm going to guess not many people are familiar with unless you've done programming before, which is the percent. In programming, this is known as the modulus operator, and in mathematics, modulus is another way to denote the absolute of something. Oops. Like that, that's also known as modulus. But in programming, it means get the remainder of a division. So now if I type tutorial variable modulus, oops, I cannot see my keyboard again. I should really record these videos when it's a lot lighter. As you know, light bulb in my room. So if I did that, 9 over 5 again, this time instead of the result being 1 cut down from 1.8, the result is 4, which is the remainder of 9 over 5. Okay, so that covers integer mathematics. Floating point and double, floating and double types, maths is pretty simple on it, except I think the modulus operator might not work. I'm not sure. I'll have to put something in the description about that. I think modulus might only be an integer operator. So now I'm going to get on to test statements. Test statements are a big part of programming, and the simplest test statement is the if statement. Standard setup looks like that. It's if, which is a keyword. In your brackets is where you put your test. It's what you want to be tested. For example, this here, bloody hell. I'm going to test if the return value of tutorial variable modulus 2 is 0. This might seem a little odd, but I'm actually asking if this is divisible by 2, the remainder will always be 0. So this here checks if that value is odd. And I'll output the screen. This is even. Syntax is the if name, you test inside 2 brackets. That's my test, 2 brackets right beside the highlight blue bit. And I'll actually be honest and say this first, that is perfectly valid. If you're using if statement or else statement or for or anything else which is a loop or test, it will execute the first line of code underneath it if it is true. However, if I wanted more things like see out good job, it's not odd for some strange reason, this line here would be executed only if the variable is divisible by 2, and in this case being 9 it's not. But this line here will be executed all the time, no matter what the result is, because that has left the if statement, it's not a part of it. If I wanted that to be part of the if statement, I'd have to open curly brace there and close my curly brace here. By the way, spacing doesn't really matter at all in programming, but it is just so much neater to see where everything is going. A lot of people actually put opening curly braces on the next line like that, but I often think that that's just way too much, because they put an opening there and opening there, and just filled up the page too much. I think as long as it's indented evenly, I'm happy. So that's the if statement. Anything outside of this now will be executed after the if statement has been tested, and if it's true, executed; if not, then skipped. To go along with the if statement is the else statement. On the else, let me just get rid of that. Else works very much the same. Without the curly braces, it will execute the first line only. If you can see, my compiler automatically indents me here, and when I go, oh right, yeah, that's because it's a comment, but automatically indents me there. And if I actually add a semicolon to the end of what I've written, it takes me back to where I should be. However, when I open a curly brace to say if I want to do more than one line, my compiler keeps me typing in the else statement until I hit close curly brace, when it brings me back. So else statement works exactly the same. This is odd. In fact, I'm going to chuck the variable in there too. I'll do the same to that one just to make it easy. By the way, I'm hitting tab for autocomplete, but sometimes it does mess up and just end up hitting tabs. Okay, and there's that. So that'll run perfectly fine, execute, and whatever this value is, it will determine whether it's even or odd using this test statement. If it's true, this test statement, if all that returns true, this line of code will be outputted. Otherwise, this line of code will be outputted. So if this returns false, it will skip all of that and go straight to this line of code, or this box of code here, and same with that. So to go along with I'm just adding, I can have as many if statements as I want inside each other, after each other, like that. I can also have an else if statement, which carry on forever, really. So if all this is just on its own here, I can have if something, do something here. If not, then check for this and do something here. If not the second time, which is the result of this one, then check for this and do it here. And you can have a final else if you want, and saying, okay, if that or that or that, if none of them are true, then do this. That's how it works. If the one previously is not true, then it'll check this. I can also put statements inside each other, like this. Damn it! See here, I'm putting if statement inside another if statement. And what will happen here, oops, what have I done? What will happen here is, if this is true, then this line will be executed and this statement will be reached, and if that's true, this line will be executed. That this inner loop, this inner statement exits, then the outer one exits, and then we're back to the main code. If this first one is false, then all of its inside, including that extra if statement there, are all skipped straight to here. And I think that covers basic test statements. So, the next lesson, I have completely forgot what I planned it to be. Okay, the next lesson is a good one because that is user input. As we've seen here, this is all output into the screen. Next lesson, user input. By the way, if you want to just see this, make sure it compiles, then I'll get that up now. Oh. Hey? I've got to put a capital. I don't know what's wrong there. Interesting. Oh right, of course. Yeah, I've not actually made it output anything if it's odd. So, if tutorial variable. Oh wait, I don't need that. I just put an else statement here. Console out. This is odd. Oops. Damn it! Sometimes I type a little bit fast and make the auto suggestions skip about a bit, so that's screwing me up. Here we go. Clear that. Intro.exe. This is odd. 9. There we go. We've got our variable there. It's tested if it's even. It's not, so it skips all that. Comes down, spots an else. It knows that wasn't true, so it comes into here. Outputs this is odd. Then the value of our variable. And exits the else statement and returns. Okay, thanks for watching, people. Again, if you've kept up with me, then thank you very much. I appreciate it, and good luck programming. See you later.